The world had crumbled into chaos, and the dead roamed the streets, their hunger insatiable. I couldn't believe what had become of our once vibrant society. The outbreak had struck with ferocious speed, turning friends and family into mindless, ravenous creatures. My name is Jack, and I was one of the few survivors left in this hellish landscape. I had barricaded myself in an abandoned grocery store, scavenging for canned goods and bottled water. It had been weeks since I'd seen another living soul. The days blended into a monotonous routine of searching for supplies, fortifying my hideout, and fighting off the relentless hordes. I had lost count of how many close calls I'd had, narrowly escaping death by a hair's breadth. The smell of decay hung in the air, a constant reminder of the world we had lost. One evening, as I was huddled in a corner, surrounded by flickering candles and clutching my shotgun, a scratching sound echoed from outside. I peered through a crack in the boarded-up windows and saw them, a horde of zombies pressing against the makeshift barricades. Panic surged through me as I realized that the barricades wouldn't hold much longer. My heart raced as I grabbed my bag, filled with essentials, and made a desperate decision to escape through the back door. I had to leave the safety of the grocery store if I had any hope of surviving. I burst through the door, and the night air hit me like a shock. I moved stealthily through the darkness, my senses heightened to the slightest sound. Every creak of a floorboard, every rustle of leaves sent a chill down my spine. I knew that any noise could attract the undead. Hours turned into an eternity as I navigated the deserted streets, encountering pockets of danger at every turn. But I couldn't stop. I had to find a safer haven, a place to regroup, and hopefully find other survivors. My journey led me to an old hospital on the outskirts of town. It was a grim and foreboding place, but it seemed secure. The moment I stepped inside, I heard a voice. "Hey, over here!" It was another survivor, and I wasn't alone. In that moment, hope flickered in the darkness, a glimmer of possibility that we might stand a chance against the relentless tide of the undead. We were survivors, fighting to reclaim the world from the horrors that now walked the earth, one day at a time. My name is Alex, and I woke up in a world where everything I knew had crumbled. The news had been a blur of chaos and despair, as an unknown virus had rapidly spread, turning friends, family, and strangers into mindless, relentless zombies. For weeks, I had taken refuge in an abandoned cabin deep in the woods, far from the hordes. My isolation was numbing, and the silence of the forest was both a comfort and a torment. But it was a solitude that had kept me alive. One morning, I ventured out to gather supplies. The forest seemed different, quieter. As I approached the cabin, an eerie sense of unease crept over me. I pushed open the door cautiously and froze. Inside, there stood a woman. Her eyes were vacant, her skin pallid, and her fingers curled into grotesque claws. She had once been my sister, and now she was one of them. I backed away, heart pounding. She lunged at me with a guttural moan, and I barely managed to slam the door shut, barricading it with all my might. My sister's relentless scratching and moaning sent shivers down my spine. Realization hit me. She had tracked me, even in the wilderness. As I retreated further into the cabin, I found my family's old hunting rifle, loaded it, and steeled myself. Tears welled in my eyes as I aimed at the door, knowing that I had to protect myself. Hours passed as I sat with the rifle, my sister's muffled moans a haunting reminder of the nightmare that had become my world. It was a choice I never wanted to make, but when she finally broke through the door, her dead eyes met mine one last time. In that moment, I pulled the trigger, ending her torment and sealing my own fate in this desolate world. I was a survivor, but the cost of survival had left me forever scarred. The world was a wasteland, and I was just another broken soul, struggling to endure each day in the relentless grip of the zombie apocalypse.